Direct injection is phenomenal for efficiency, but it runs out when you start throwing massive air at the VR30 platform. Today we're tearing down that wall. SOHO has fully integrated port injection on this Nissan Z, and here's how we did it. In this video, we're giving you the exact blueprint from the custom air-to-air system, upgraded turbos, overhauling of the drivetrain. We do it all. If you're looking to build a high horsepower Z, better grab that notepad. Let's take some notes. To need port injection, you gotta be moving some serious amount of air. The stock turbochargers were ripped out of this vehicle. We installed a set of Z1 VRX60 turbochargers. These things spool well, they make power up top, and they allow us room to grow. To be pushing this type of power, it's gonna create a lot of heat. So what we did is we utilized the SOHO Motorsports Air-to-Air upgrade for this vehicle. With this being a dedicated track car, we wanna make sure that IATs are within spec and they're reliable, and he's making the power every single time he's on the track. Now for the star of the show. To feed these VRX60s, we had to rip out the entire fuel system and upgrade it, and here's what we did. We started in the back with the AMS in-tank dual fuel pump system to allow us to provide the volume that we needed. From there to the front, it mates up with the AMS ported intake lower manifold that allows us to run the port with a set of 1050cc injectors. Now, here's the kicker. We left the stock high pressure fuel pump system in there and the stock direct injection injectors in there. So the port will allow us to make the power all the way up to 700 wheel, still utilizing the stock DI components. Having the fuel is half the battle. Controlling it is where the magic happens. We utilize the Motive Reflex Plus ECU module along with their plug and play key to bridge the gap between the stock ECU and the port injection via the Motive Reflex box. Now you may ask, what is needed for the inputs for the Motive Reflex Plus box? You're going to need 3 inputs. It's going to be the crank signal, the cam signal, and a map sensor signal. These 3 inputs allow the Motive Reflex box to communicate with the ECU to determine when it needs to spray. Now, you got to make sure that the harness itself is properly done. You don't want to have any inputs that aren't registering it, because then it won't trigger the port as it needs to. Making power is useless if you're turning tires into smoke. So what did we do on this setup? We dropped the OEM transmission, installed a NISMO twin disc clutch on it, allowing us to have a very stockish pedal feel and hold the power. The client already had the NISMO 1.5 GT differential. We added a Z1 Motorsports differential cover for additional capacity and fluid to keep things cool. To dial in the alignment, we upgraded SPL components on this vehicle, along with a custom set of Fortune Auto coilovers on a square set of 18-inch rays on Toyo RS4 tires. This vehicle is ready for the track. To let the VR30 exhale, we installed a set of AMS full exhaust components along with an AWE exhaust to allow us to make the power that we need without a restriction. Hardware is nothing without software. Blending the direct injection along with the port injection requires precision. Let's talk about the tuning strategies that were used to allow all of these things to come together. Incorporating the port injection via the EcuTek software requires custom mapping, which allows us to utilize the CAN inputs and the CAN outputs, and also the custom maps. So the custom maps come into play whenever we're trying to determine how much duty we want for the injectors to bring in based off of when it runs out of the direct injection and when the port injection comes into play. Without getting too technical, there is a transition point where basically you run out of the direct injection and the port injection comes in. That is the beauty of the EcuTek software that allows the custom mapping to be utilized fully on the stock computer setup to make this vehicle make the power that it needs to make. Now people may ask, how do I go from the pump side to the E85 side? Now E85 is technically just a term. The number after E is going to be the percentage of ethanol that is inside the actual fueling at that moment. For example, if this vehicle is on E60, there are custom tables via the EcuTek software and the flex fuel tables that allow us to integrate how much more fuel we need when we go from the pump to the E85. Now from pump to E85 is 33%. That's a standard, and obviously it'll scale from that point and allow us to make the power that we need and allow us to have the proper fueling that we need when we increase the ethanol content. That is also done via the Motive Reflex custom maps that are done on the back end of the EcuTek software as well. Now integrating the port injection to the EcuTek software did take a little bit longer than I expected. However, with the help of the Motive guys and the EcuTek guys, we were able to understand it and implement it properly and deliver for this client. Everybody wants to know how much power this vehicle put down. So it's got two maps. It's got a pump map and it's got an E map. On pump, it put down 548 wheel and 479 foot-pounds of torque at 20 pounds on 93 octane. Now the E map, the big boy map, it put down 726 wheel and 604 foot-pounds of torque at 26 PSI on E60. If you guys made it this far in the video, number one, I really do appreciate the support and watching this long. If you want to build similar to this, give us a call. We now have the formula 704-839-0435. You can also text that number, or if you're an email guy, shoot us an email, support@sohomotorsports.com, and we can get to you. Or if you're a social media guy, shoot us a DM.